For this video, I will provide an overview of the armored unit type and list the factions which currently have these units available, then cover some generic strategic applications for squads assigned to armored units, to include insight about which opposing unit types are of least and greatest threat to the success and win of operations by armored teams. The premise of armored warfare rests on the ability of troops to penetrate conventional defensive lines through use of maneuver by armored units. Citing squads developers directly, armored units focus on main battle tanks at the expense of lacking a wider number and variety of supporting vehicles and a long wait for their only helicopter. What this means is that armored units in squad are specialized to reign territorial dominance through the use of multiple available heavily armored tanks, but are hindered by a severe disproportion of assisting vehicles and resupply capabilities. The real-world 1st Armored Division, nicknamed Old Ironsides, was the 1st Armored Division of the United States Army to see battle in World War II. Since then, the division has been involved in the Cuban Missile Crisis, Persian Gulf War, Iraq, Afghanistan, and several other operations. Currently in squad, there are 12 playable armored units, 3 under the Blue 4 Alliance, 4 independent, 3 PAC, and 2 Red 4. Starting with Blue 4, the first of the armored units is the British Queen's Royal Hussars Battle Group, or QRH, renowned for their expertise in operating tanks and reconnaissance vehicles. Also under the Blue 4 Alliance, Canada's Lord Strathcona's Horse Regiment, known for its exceptional capabilities in armored warfare. Finally, the United States Marine Corps' 1st Tank Battalion, 1st Marines, renowned for its combat effectiveness and armored warfare capabilities. Moving on to the independent factions, the first unit is the Irregular Militia Forces Irregular Armored Squadron, a unique and adaptable armored unit with a focus on mobility, surprise, and agility. The second independent unit is the Insurgents Irregular Armored Squadron, whose mission includes reconnaissance and hit-and-run tactics. Next, the Middle Eastern Alliance's 60th Prince Asir Armored Brigade is capable of engaging any other armored force of the world. Lastly, the Turkish 4th Armored Brigade Battle Group boasts improved firepower, mobility, and protection. For armored units under the Chinese Alliance, the first is the PLA's 195th Heavy Combined Arms Brigade, which operates advanced ZTZ main battle tanks, showcasing its commitment to modernization. Also under the Chinese Alliance, the PLA Amphibious Ground Forces 9th Heavy Combined Arms Battalion is equipped with advanced equipment and trained for versatile operations. The final Chinese armored unit is the PLA Naval Marine Corps 3rd Marine Heavy Battalion, specializing in conducting contested amphibious combat operations. As for the Red 4 Alliance, Russian Ground Forces' 6th Separate Tank Brigade is characterized by its proficiency in heavy armored warfare, renowned for its combat effectiveness and firepower. And last but not least, VDV's 104th Tank Battalion, whose mission is to provide essential armored support, deploying formidable assets such as amphibious tank destroyers and main battle tanks. These 12 units have one major characteristic in common: armored warfare. The key to the efficacy of operations performed by armored units lies within proper utilization of tank assets. First, the most obvious strategy for armored units is to maximize their combat effectiveness through the use of their thick skin, their heavily armored chassis. The majority of small arms fire and ground forces capabilities lack adequate resources to penetrate the defenses of modern tanks. This means armored units set their immediate fears of being overpowered to the back burner as they disregard even the most intimidating of defensive lines. Armored units disrupt territory boundaries seamlessly simply due to their ability to soak up small arms fire like a sponge. This allows armored units to easily seize actively contested ground and hold the line while capture points and other objectives are secured. Full utilization of the entire available tank force, for which some units have up to 3 available tanks, grants armored units complete dominance when it comes to the ability to survive heavy amounts of incoming firepower. The second main strategy for armored units is by means of direct and lethal combat through utilization of the main cannon, or gun. The sheer destruction capabilities of a single round from a tank's gun is unparalleled among the entirety of the battlefield and places the cannon itself at the top of the direct offensive food chain. Heavy rounds expelled from the mobile weapon system will penetrate even the most fortified defenses, and use of a variety of round types means the tank is versatile enough to engage not only other vehicles, but groups of soft forces as well. The presence and known proximity of a main battle tank is enough to deter enemy forces from revealing themselves simply out of fear of the capability of the gun itself, meaning armored units can maneuver safer just by having a tank nearby. Pair the available tanks together, and the overpowering lethality is doubled, or even tripled, since multiple tank cannons in tandem offer additional firing positions to overcome any offensive or defensive hurdle. Keeping these strategies in mind, armored units pose the greatest threat to light infantry units and mechanized units. The armor limitations of each of these units' available vehicles is no match for the defensive resiliency of a main battle tank. Furthermore, while light infantry and mechanized units have the potential to cause serious harm to a single tank, these units are severely unlikely to overpower the force of 2 or even 3 tanks working together at the same time. Whatever fortifications light infantry and mechanized units deploy, and any defensive lines they hold, can and will be penetrated by the armored unit's firepower capabilities. Where the armored units suffer is when facing air assault units. These units severely outmaneuver armored units in terms of speed and position advancement, particularly through the high potential to breach friendly flanks to the rear. The armor of the main battle tank is weakest at the rear of the hull, and air assault units have the superiority of agility and lack of terrain restrictions to surround and destroy armored unit assets. Furthermore, rapid mobility capabilities by helicopter insertion means air assault units will most definitely have the upper hand in securing capture points and objectives long before the slow tracks of a tank can contest the territory. Finally, the multiple ATGM launchers available to air assault units will suffice as adequate deterrents for any heavy armor inbound for offensive operations. In conclusion, armored units in squad possess damage absorption and firepower superiority at the cost of a neglect of support. If the tanks maintain their ammunition reserve and work in tandem with the other available armor to avoid taking damage, armored units will dominate anything that stands in their way. However, if the tanks find themselves surrounded or dry on resources, no thickness of armor will cease their demise.